fuck out of here.
Y'all probably don't get paid enough for this shit.
Hi.
Y'all probably don't get paid enough for this shit. I know you don't.
Yeah, get out.
Y'all must be broke to have to do shit.
Fuck out of here.
Y'all some bitches.
The fuck out! We hate you! Your mother should have swallowed you and fixed this before it started, you assholes! We hate you! Go the fuck home! Go the fuck home! You're murderers! You're fucking murderers! You murdered someone! That's what you did! You murdered someone! You're murderers! You fucking assholes! Go the fuck back to where you came from!
Get the fuck out of our city. Get the fuck out of our city.
You gonna shoot someone else?
Go the fuck home!
You gonna shoot someone else?
Terrorist coward motherfuckers, get the fuck out of our
Cowards! Cowards! Get the fuck out of this neighborhood! We don't want fucking hate you! Go the fuck home! Please! Bye, asshole!
Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to screw up. Fuck me. Tear gas, tear gas. Tear gas.
Stand up for the local police. We are not protecting you. They're cowards.
Oh man, I can't get back there. Oh fuck. Can't get back there. Got multiple people are gonna have irritation in their eyes. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Fuck me.
Eyes out of Minnesota, eyes out of Minnesota, eyes out of Minnesota, eyes
Woo! Yeah. That's the stuff. Yeah. That's that good shit right there. Yep, missed that. Let me get all that. Yep. Yep. Woo! Oh, fuck. Okay, it's clear now. No.
They get ready. You get ready? You get ready with your mask on? Eyes out of Minnesota. Eyes out of Minnesota. Eyes out of Minnesota.
Sucks, man. Sucks bad.
Enforcement agents is causing chaos in our city. We are demanding ICE to leave the city immediately. We stand rock solid with our immigrant and refugee communities. We've heard from Senator Tina Smith. We've heard from the governor, all confirming they are aware of the situation and monitoring it.
Right, and the governor's latest tweet, I was looking to see if there was anything new. This is the same tweet from Governor Tim Walz saying, "My public safety team is working to gather information on an ICE-related shooting this morning. We will share more information as we learn more. In the meantime, he's asking people to remain calm."
And again, just anecdotally, we're watching this. We can confirm that even one of our crew members got sprayed in that situation, that kind of tense moment there. So we are working to learn more as we are trying to gather information on the scene. It appears, obviously, we only have a couple vantage points, but it appears that the situation maybe has calmed down a bit. So that is, all in all, good news for everyone there involved. It looks like things have settled a little bit here. So we will continue to watch what's going on here as we still work to learn more about what happened.
We do have two reporters on the scene.
Oh, we hit 90K subs. So I'm glad I could get to you guys for 90,000 subs. Appreciate that, guys.
We spoke with just a few minutes ago. Corin telling us
To you guys. So they had that
witness to the shooting
in the gun, too.
He said it was a couple of the ICE agents and this person, as they're calling themselves a constitutional observer. They're folks who are there to observe the ICE involvement and to make sure that everything is constitutionally being done correctly. They're doing that by taking notes. They're doing that by and large, using their phones to record those incidents. That person was told, we are told from Corin, and again, this is through the witness who was telling him this information, that person was told to get into their car and to leave the area. Apparently, the person did get
and they got their pepper spray guns.
If my memory serves me, it was a lot of questions here. I do want to say the city of Minneapolis just put out a statement here on X saying we are aware of a shooting involving a federal agent at 34th Street in Portland. We are working to confirm additional information, but what
Thank you, Bobby. We got to get Nikki post the video.
100%
Post the clip of the less than lethals getting deployed now. Let's get that up now. Well, you can expect increased protests outside the Whipple building likely now.
How the fuck can you stand up and defend Nazis while they kill us in our communities?
Might have to have my surgery pushed back, actually. No bullshit. I might have just lost my surgery for today, getting that tear gas ingested. Fuck.
Biden, like, what for? That woman was shot today by ICE agents. Chased down and shot.
Good thing I didn't wear my contacts today, too, though. My glasses are fogging up, but...
They're gonna start shooting pepper spray. He had
Scene has been talking to as many doctor away for helping this victim, this shooting victim, for about 10 to 15 minutes. According to this witness, they say ICE vehicles also blocked the ambulance, and they eventually had to...
Why are they're gearing up? Or
taking their masks off and they're putting their helmets on.
Ice out of Minnesota! Ice out of Minnesota!
What you're gonna do? Power! Here we are. Okay, now we're gonna speak.
is that King B? Yeah. King Demetrius got tear gas pretty good. I'm gonna go to the other side.
We need more water. Old school.
So you got a massive Hennepin County Sheriff presence out here now. You got FBI, CSI. Rockstar coverage. Thank you so much, Shifty Lincoln. I made sure I was off to the side so that way, like, I wasn't gonna get the gas directly. A couple people got hit in the face directly.
That's what it looked like.
Please, for the Facebook description, we need a space between the title and the description. It's all one blob. I just noticed that. What up? What up, Facebook? We're out here on 34th and Portland still. It's King Demetrius. King Demetrius Pendleton on a journalist. So you got tear gas pretty good. So just to catch you guys up, there was ice activity here this morning, and there was the rapid response responders or people that were tracking where ice is, and the vehicle started driving. It's actually down the street here. Hold on. You guys have a good feed or no? Yeah, there's a lot of media out here now. I might have to switch to live view. I've been on my phone the whole day. But as I was saying, though, this is exactly what this administration wants to do. They want to go into our cities and kill American citizens that oppose them. That's exactly what this administration wants to do. Don't let them ever convince you otherwise. What the ICE agents did today, and if they ended up killing someone here, that's what they want to do. Okay? They don't. It isn't about immigration. They're trying to take out their opponents. They're taking out their political opponents. Socially, politically, economically. I don't have that much time out here. That's why I'm on the phone. I have to go home. I have a surgery coming up. But that's why on all the social media, you have DHS and Homeland Security and all of the government agencies posting how this is based and how they love this. So get ready. This is exactly what this administration and this federal government wants to do. They want to come into our cities and kill us. And that's exactly what they did today. They absolutely want to. The way that they talk, I've been watching them for a month. What the fuck do you know? I've been out here with them. Have you? I've been out here watching these ICE agents for a month. Are you out of your mind? They absolutely, they're all about, wanting to shoot people, and they have their gun, and they're bragging about all of their actions that they're doing. It isn't like, oh, we're just here to just do some immigration raids. No, they're out here, they've been terrorizing the community for over a month. And then here today, they kill someone.
I saw your stream and headed down.
Thanks, buddy. ICE wants violence. The federal government wants this. They want all of this. Okay? Get that into your brain now. If you like are against this administration, what you saw today is the standard. All of this ain't about immigrants. It ain't, well, it is, but like it's really just about people opposed to Donald Trump. And if you're opposed to him, he's coming after you. All right, doesn't matter. So. Yes, they killed someone. They're doing a crime scene investigation right now. Well, I'm not sure if the person is killed, but the way the video looks and it's not good. Okay. It's not good. That's the vehicle over there. You got FBI, you got all the local investigators, federal, local, all that out there, over there right now. They're at the vehicle. You got the police putting barricades out. Yeah, we have the videos, but I can't. Let me see here. Yes. Approve mods, just automatic approve, yes. If journalists and mainstream media is asking for clips, yes, just yes. Yep, appreciate that. And it'll probably be on Reuters and all types of stuff, AP, all that. So yeah, accept it. Yeah, Greg Bavino out here too. So the day that ICE shoots someone, likely kills them, you got Greg Bavino out here at the very same moment. We got that on video too. He's out here.
Are you the dude from Mercado?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, absolutely.
And Madison McVan.
Oh, Madison Critical Master.
Minnesota Reformer.
Oh, Minnesota Reformer. Absolutely. Good work, by the way. Greg, good work. Absolutely. Oh, you're good. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I'm out here. We're out here live.
We're gonna, clergy is praying right now. I don't know if you want to get that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And then we're gonna go. Hey, so I just spoke with Jelani.
Yeah.
He said that it was confirmed that she died.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. They confirmed that she's dead?
Nah, shit. I should.
So you have local clergy over here praying.
Love you. You called us to love our neighbors, all of our neighbors. All of our neighbors. We ask you to settle in our hearts and help us be your witness in the world, that we might bring peace and justice in this time and in this place that is so beyond words.
Hey, can you please send me those videos when you can? All right, sounds good.
Jason, I voted for you. Thank you for being out here for us. Thank you.
Come on, bro. Sorry about that. I'm just saying.
Hey, Chief, your boys gonna kill anybody today?
So you got Hennepin County Sheriff and the local police here in Minneapolis. Hennepin County is the county Minneapolis falls under, and they're out here providing a cordoned off area where ICE reportedly shot, and still waiting for double confirmation of whether or not the individual is deceased.
No, they're still there. They have masks up. They have their armor on. I can't get out.
Something that's in question. They did tell a judge that they, in Chicago, were using body-worn camera, but then told...
Their cars have just been in the intersection. Like, they're still
How's the
there.
audio now, Facebook? Facebook, are we good?
Sitting in there.
Is the audio good? Audio good?
Right. Do something.
So you have the community appealing to the local police. This is the local police in front of us and
My
sheriffs.
car, they're blocking my car in. I can't leave. Yeah, like it's that black car that's still there, and then there's a black Jeep. I'm parked like literally before the next parallel street, and it's that black SUV, and then there's a black Jeep.
I'm also black.
It is? Oh, okay. It looks like it. Okay, and the Jeep is? You can't see the black Jeep from here, but it looked like it was those ICE officers. Hi. Okay, I just can't get out.
What? I know. My name's Doreen, and you're Minneapolis.
Yes, I'm talking on this street. There's people in the car. There is a Texas license plate, and then there's another one that's like, I thought federal. So that's why I didn't think
ICE is completely off of this area.
Yeah. No, it's a Texas plate. Yeah, so that's why I thought it was like,
we can't get out with the BCA, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and the FBI. I know.
They're just like actively not rolling on the window for anyone.
And people are still trying to ensure that like they can get all the information on the scene, so the individual who shot.
Conference at 12:15. So obviously we know you'll be there, or one of our other reporters, to find out what they have to say, give us any new information. But since we checked in with you, the information obviously you ascertain brings us a little clearer picture, at least through the witness accounts you spoke with, about what happened here and how, as you said, this went down very quickly, with the person who was shot. And then what happened after that?
And again, Corin, if you don't mind, obviously just kind of catching up folks who are just joining us now, we do want to clarify. Anything we can confirm right now is just that it's an ICE-related shooting. But you have had a chance to talk to some witnesses as we look at some of these cars that appear to be involved. If you don't mind, could you kind of tell us again what the witnesses have told you on the scene of what potentially may have actually happened here at 34th and Portland?
Yeah, like I said, I think I've talked about 5 witnesses.
This was a huge
None of them
issue
are,
in our state in the year he ran for governor.
What the others are saying, but each of them had their own perspective on it. What they saw was, one of them saw an observer out here following ICE. They said that she was told by an ICE agent to leave the scene, and then, they went down the road. She did start leaving the scene. Some other ICE agents told her to pull over, and that's what they saw, one agent on either side. In fact, it sounds like we actually have some of that interview that I did, so let's go ahead and listen there to Aiden, who was a neighbor here.
Well, I have a 1 month at home, so I was just getting up. He had woken me up and was getting dressed when I heard all of the horns and the whistles. And I'd heard horns pass through before as people follow ICE vehicles through the city, but they stayed. They kept going, and so I figured whatever was happening right outside. So I started watching through the window. And there was a red Honda Pilot, maroon. But there were 2 people in fatigues, ICE agents, presumably. One was by the passenger side of the vehicle, one was by the driver's side of the vehicle. And there was a handful of black and white SUVs, license plates on some of them, front license plates removed, parked sort of kittywampus in the street. And I watched as a third person in full camo come and pull several times on the door handle, at which point the red vehicle reversed a few feet and started driving around, and the person who was by the driver's side originally, not the man who pulled on the door, but who was originally there, shot through the driver's side window 3 times, and the car drove down the street a little bit more and then swerved into a car and then ultimately a telephone pole.
Okay. I think that's really all, because I'm not trying to get you to comment on that. You just saw this. Did you see an ambulance come? Did you?
An ambulance came a few minutes later. There was some delay getting the ambulance to the vehicle because of the number of ICE vehicles in the street, and sort of they slowly moved their SUVs and trucks out of the way. Somebody wearing a camo and a vest that just said police, I think they're ICE, but no identification. Grabbed an orange sort of OtterBox style case and ran up to the vehicle, and they pulled the person out and onto the boulevard before the ambulance got there.
When you saw it happen, was that vehicle still moving? Was it at all going towards an agent at that point? Or?
I mean, so the agents had been on either side, so they just backed up a few feet and then drove forward again. Somebody else said that the vehicle had been stuck in the snow a little bit. So they weren't driving at a person with any intention of hitting them. They were driving between.
Right, and Corin, we just heard the interview you had with the person, Aiden, who was there on the scene. The other people had echoed what he had to say, by and large, independently of that person.
Sorry if you guys are talking.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No,
yep, we just listened to the witness account of what he says he heard. obviously starting with the noise of the horns and the whistles. And if you're wondering what does he mean by that, kind of alluding to the fact because there has been this ICE presence, some of the observers and neighbors have essentially tried to make, an alert that ICE is in town, is in the neighborhood, and that was kind of the trigger to tell people agents are in the neighborhood.
Right, and Corin, we heard his account, and I'm just wondering, is his account similar to the other folks you heard from, who were not maybe part of hearing what he had to say? Were they independent? By and large, were they pretty much the same statements you heard?
Yeah, so I'd say some of the people I've talked to that didn't want to talk on camera told me almost the same as Aiden did there, although, each person's story picks up at a different place. So Aiden did not see that person acting as an observer and being told to leave. Somebody else who lived down the street a little bit further saw that part of the story. She didn't see the shooting happen. But essentially, as you piece it together, as you walk down Portland Avenue here, that's kind of everybody's story sticks to that kind of straight chronological narrative of ICE coming down the street, ICE being pursued by folks who are blaring horns and blowing whistles, and then suddenly stopping here, which was unusual to all of them who have heard these horns and the whistles before. Apparently, Portland Avenue, apparently, used frequently by ICE vehicles, and therefore that is kind of a common occurrence for the folks in this neighborhood, is to hear the horns and the whistles. But this time it stopped, and that was the first and only time that that's happened. And so their attention was drawn out to the streets as this was going down. And so each of them saw the caravan of ICE folks coming out here, and then each of them saw a different portion of kind of the interaction between ICE and the woman. So, first person sees the woman being told to get in her car and leave. Next few folks, I think I've talked to 5 people from 3 different houses. The next few folks saw the woman driving and being pursued, as Aiden said, by one person on either side of the vehicle, and then a third person coming up there. And then the last, they and the last person at the last house there observed the shooting, and then also observed the physician who was not allowed to come in here and render care to the victim.
Corin, I do want to interrupt you. We just got a statement from ICE, and I'm just going to read it to you live. It says, today, ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorism. An ICE officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. They go on to say he used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers. The alleged perpetrator was hit and is deceased. Thankfully, the ICE officers who were hurt are expected to make a full recovery. This is the direct consequence of constant attacks and demonizing of our officers by sanctuary politicians who fuel and encourage rampant assaults on our law enforcement, who are facing 1,300% increase in assaults against them, 8,000 increase in death threats. They go on to say this is an evolving situation. We will give the public more information as soon as it becomes available. So again, that statement coming just in from ICE, confirming ICE-related shooting, saying that victim is dead.
Yeah, you heard Aiden's account, and every eyewitness account that I have heard contradicts the statement that the ICE agents' lives were at risk. But that's why we are asking about video. That's why we're asking if some of the observers had the video and whether the ICE agents are wearing the body-worn and using body-worn video, because that would help us know for sure. But again, I've talked to 5 eyewitnesses. All of them contradict the ICE statement that their agents were at risk when they started shooting.
Yeah, there are a lot of layers here. We are learning a lot more. This is obviously a volatile situation in the sense of news gathering, and it's happening very quickly. We're getting comments. We remind everyone, too, that we will be hearing from Mayor Jacob Fry and Chief Brian O'Hara at a 12:15 news conference. We'll, of course, bring that to you live when it happens. Corin, we also have video of Karen Scullin, one of our other reporters on the scene. She was also apparently involved with some of the pepper spraying that was going on.
Yeah, I believe we have the video if we can show that.
There you can see Karen wearing the blue jacket there, and it appears oh, it's just a still picture. All right.
Here. But Karen did say that they were there on the ground. She says protesters wouldn't let ICE leave, throwing things at the agents, chemical spray deployed, saying she just got hit. Her and a photographer saying, you know, this hurts bad, skin, eyes, lungs, and they are kind of waiting this out. And we watched that real time. It looked like that white vehicle was trying to leave. It started with looked like snow, maybe ice being thrown, and then getting in front of the vehicle and trying to block it from leaving in that alley. Looks like there's the chief right there.
Right, and we don't know if that's, we're showing video, of course, in some cases. This does appear to be a live picture, is that right? This is a live picture we're looking at right now? That is a live picture, so yeah, everything you're seeing right now is live. So we know that Minneapolis Police and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office were also responding because of the incident involving ICE agents where a person was shot, and now we can confirm through ICE that that person is deceased.
Corin, if we still have you here, I know you've been covering, obviously, this over the last couple of days and last couple of weeks as politicians and city officials have been talking about knowing this was probably coming our way and the presence of ICE. And nearly every politician has talked about, even the police chief talking about, this was their worst fear, that things were going to escalate. From, you know, the governor's office all the way down to city council members, and I know you've talked to many of them, and this is what they were fearing potentially would happen. Not necessarily this exact situation, but just that things would escalate so much to this.
Absolutely, and you know, that I've heard them every time focus on this as the worst case scenario, whether it was, you know, an observer or an innocent bystander, a completely innocent bystander, or an ICE agent being the one killed, that this is what the net result could be of an ICE surge where, you know, everywhere they go, they are a flashpoint. That's true when they were in D.C., when they were in L.A., when they were in Chicago, etc. And this is what they worried would happen. And, you know, like I said, it's a flashpoint. Everywhere they go, you know, there are folks who support them and there are folks who don't. And the folks who don't, a lot of them have trained to be constitutional observers so that they are not violating any state or federal laws as they come out and protest. But, you know, not every protester is trained, and even trained protesters sometimes will go beyond the lines. And so that is something that everybody was worried about, and that is, you know, apparently, you know, the death, at least, is confirmed now through ICE. And so that, you know, here we are in the worst case scenario, and, you know, we're not at the end of this operation either, and so that could, this may just be the first of more. So that you know, is something that I'm sure, you know, Mayor Fry will be focused on as he and Chief O'Hara give their statement here in about 30 minutes.
Corin, in the background behind you, we can certainly hear there's still some shouting, people maybe with bullhorns and that type of thing, the protests continuing. But from what you've been able to observe, does it look like it's now the bailiwick of Minneapolis Police, Hennepin County? Those are the folks who are, by and large, kind of controlling that area, and ICE has now moved out? Is that what you're kind of observing, or do you still see some ICE agents?
Yeah, Tom, I mean, where I'm standing on 33rd and Portland, I only see Minneapolis police officers. Let me walk away for a second. Yeah, there are still some ICE vehicles here. That doesn't mean there are agents here. I can some of their vehicles still here. That doesn't mean that they haven't left. Those may be, the
part of the crime scene, right? We're losing Corin's
but the crime scene, possibly.
There we go. You're back.
You're fine. I got it now.
Okay, it's back. Yeah.
Having some issues again. We will work on that as you were looking at live pictures again here, kind of two different areas of the scene. The smaller box you're looking at is the area that has the cars that appear to be involved in this now deadly ICE-related shooting. There's a black car, a white car, and a red car. We've been hearing a lot about the red car. According to witnesses, it was this victim who was in the red car involved in this situation. And then obviously the bigger picture you see just down the road, a larger gathering of folks there at Portland and 34th.
We were told by, we at least heard from the witness, Aiden, who Corin spoke with, that it was the vehicle you see just beyond the police vehicle there and the white car, a kind of maroon-colored Honda Pilot. That's believed to be the vehicle that this person, this constitutional observer, was in. And as ICE, in their account, we have a statement from ICE. We'll put that up for you and show you exactly what they said again.
So this just coming in, and this is our first official confirmation that this is indeed deadly. So this statement coming to us from ICE, saying today ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of those violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorism. An ICE officer, fearing for his life and the lives of his fellow law enforcement and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers. Statement goes on to say the alleged perpetrator was hit and is deceased. Thankfully, the ICE officers who were hurt are expected to make a full recovery. This is the direct consequence of constant attacks and demonization of our officers by sanctuary politicians who fuel and encourage rampant assaults on our law enforcement, who are facing 1,300% increase in assaults against them and an 8,000% increase in death threats. This is an evolving situation. We will give the public more information as soon as it becomes available. Again, that is the statement coming to us from ICE.
And we know, Corin, you're chatting with us right now in a fixed location. Are they allowing media to move around the area? Are you being restricted in any way from getting to where you need to be to cover the story?
Well, no, I'm not being restricted in any way more than the general public is. So the streets are blocked off here. Portland especially is blocked off. To try to find the photojournalist I'm working with, Russ Wiesman, I had to go through an alleyway because I was closer to 34th, where I saw a lot of the activity over there and where I was talking to most of the witnesses over there. But to get up to 33rd, where Russ was, I needed to get into the alleyway. So it's not a free for all out here, but it's definitely it's passable.
And again, just going back to that ICE statement, obviously that is ICE's account. We should say that we have spoken with several witnesses. Corin, you have spoken with several witnesses who you had said earlier too. That is not the story they're telling you. Not that ICE officials were in danger, and frankly, kind of the opposite from what you're hearing from people on the ground, is that presumably this observer, according to your witnesses, was not threatening the officers. Again, we will likely hear a lot more. This is continuously coming down. We're continuing to learn more information, awaiting a press conference at 12:15 from city officials.
The one thing, Corin, we know that the person who you interviewed, Aiden, talked about the person turning to drive away. We don't know what that means. In our mind's eye, we might think it's a small turn. It might have been a larger turn. We don't know that. That's why I'm sure in their police gathering, they're looking for people who have video of exactly what happened.
Or potentially, too, obviously, Corin, this is a neighborhood. Maybe one of these homes have, the Ring cameras out front. Or, all of this is part of the investigation and talking to as many people as possible, obviously talking to agents who are on the ground as well. Corin, again, kind of resetting where you are and what you're seeing, still seeing a heavy police presence from Minneapolis police, presumably?
Yeah, I will say that's starting to break up now, too. We're on 33rd. Portland is the street where the main activity is, and starting to see some tow trucks arrive here as well. So, we're getting a little closer to having this scene completely cleared. And it does seem like, crowd has come, and the crowd remains to some extent, but is not as large as it was earlier. Again, the police numbers here have seemed to dwindle as well. A lot of the neighbors to whom I've talked were standing out on their sidewalks and watching everything as the investigation played out as well. Many of them seem to have gone back into their homes. And I do want to emphasize, we heard from Aiden, who said specifically that, there was no threat to ICE agents. But I did talk to, I think it was 4 other folks who live up and down this way. One of them did say something that kind of seems to at least somewhat match the description that ICE gave of this scenario here to some extent. He said that the agents were never at risk, but he did say that one of the agents tried to slide to the front of the car, and that is when the person who was still on the side opened fire as the third agent kind of slid to the front of the car. And so that could be, in his mind, he said that could have been perceived as a threat, although in his mind there was no threat. In fact, he told me he thought the agent was trying to create a threat to create the opportunity for this. I cannot, obviously say that that's something that really happened, but that was his perception of the event that he witnessed.
Again, and this is why it's so important, obviously, as officers are on the ground, investigators are on the ground, trying to get as many eyewitness accounts, as many videos, pictures, obviously collecting anything from the vehicles. You can see, we've seen, collector evidence markers, trying to piece together what happened and what transpired there this morning in this residential area.
And we have video, Corin, and I don't know if you were able to observe this from being out there, of what appears to be the shell casings and some of the evidence markers on the ground there near that area, where we were told, at least I think by a couple of your witnesses, that there were at least 3 shots, they believe, fired into that vehicle, killing the woman who was behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's what they heard, was 3 gunshots fired. And so, yeah, if you're seeing 3 shells, that would match their description of what they witnessed as well.
And again, here we are awaiting a press conference at 12:15. We understand Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey will be there. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara will be there. Presumably other state and local leaders, as well as we are working to learn more information about what happened here, what will happen now in the minutes, hours, days to come, as this is really just the start of this investigation. If we can quickly just pull up the map again, just to give people an idea of where this is. This is East 34th Street and Portland Avenue in Minneapolis. Again, we've been talking about how this is very much a residential area, and you can see that in the pictures. It's home after home after home. There it is on the map, off of 35W, Powderhorn Park, not too far from that. And neighbors said that they, heard this all happen this morning, kind of alerted with these horns and whistles of what has been now basically a caravan following ICE agents, alerting neighbors that potentially they're in the neighborhood.
And Corin, in your interview with the young man, new father, sounds like, Aiden, he seemed very matter-of-fact in his account of what happened. What was the tone, what was the temperament of the other folks who you spoke with? Were they just recounting what they saw, or were they offering up any of their own ideology as they were telling you?
Oh, I could hear ideology there. I try to remove ideology from my descriptions as much as possible, but they definitely were upset. One of them was in tears. He had seen the woman. He said she had been hit in the face, and he was very upset because he was also one of those who saw the physician trying to get in to help, and he thought that, every second counted in that situation, and that without them allowing the physician in, they delayed the woman getting care by at least 10 minutes, he said. So he was very upset. He was upset that they were here, and he was upset at what he saw. He is absolutely, though, the one who told me that he saw an ICE agent kind of going around to the front of the car as this kind of right as this all went down. And so he's the one eyewitness statement that I've gotten that kind of sort of matches the description that ICE has recently given us.
Corin, again, obviously this is witness account, but if you could, if someone's just now tuning in and wondering what is he talking about with a physician, you heard from some folks that potentially a physician was there and looking to render aid to this victim.
That's right. They said that a doctor had walked up to the police line over there at 34th and Portland, knew that there had been an issue here and was trying to get in to render aid, but it was the only law enforcement who were here at the time were ICE, they said, and those agents would not allow the physician in. The physician was pretty adamant, repeating, "I'm a physician, I'm here to help, please let me help," but they refused to let him in, and so that woman, you heard Aiden kind of describe like an orange, like a briefcase, essentially. So he said that he thought that might have been their first aid kit, but that he didn't see them use it. And then they just kind of set the woman down on the sidewalk and waited for the ambulance to arrive. The ambulance did eventually arrive. They said 10 or 15 minutes later. And then the ambulance could not get down there to where the victim was at that point lying on the ground. And so a few agents just kind of carried her, as they described it, her limp body out to where the ambulance was so that they could take her away from here. And so, yeah, that's what they saw as far as rendering aid. The entire time the physician, they said, was trying to help. But, what did the agents know about that person? I don't know if there was an ID or anything like that.
Sure.
But yeah, 10 or 15 minutes without an ambulance arriving, and then a little bit longer to get the body out to the ambulance because of the blocked streets and the vehicles that were blocking the path.
We know, Corin, by the accounts from the Trump administration, that there are some 2,000 ICE agents now converging on Minneapolis as part of this immigration effort. Do we have any idea as far as the protest numbers or, in this case, it sounds like the woman who was shot today, apparently by an ICE agent, as confirmed by ICE's website. Do we know how many constitutional observers might be available to those folks who are trying to keep tabs on what's going on with the ICE operation?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I know that they have, they're literally in town right now training people to be constitutional observers. I don't know the number of folks who have been trained. I don't know the number of folks who have not been trained and want to be observers. I can tell you, out here, I haven't seen more than, probably several dozen folks who are, gathered around the lines here. Probably just a few dozen of them who are actually not neighbors who, live here and are concerned about what's happening in their neighborhood. So I would say, I don't know how many of the ICE agents were actually out here at the time, but it sounds like they may have outnumbered the number of observers out here.
And that is one of the questions too, and we don't know the answer. And frankly, I'm not sure when or if we will get it. Is what was the initial for?
Right here. With him is Captain Muse, who's also serves alongside the Coast Guard, and we're grateful for their service and their operation down here at the border. As you know, not only do we have our Border Patrol each and every day securing our border, but they're doing that in cooperation with a partnership between the Department of War and also the Coast Guard that has deployed down here as an a part of Operation Riverwall. We are continuing to put the American people first and to keep them safe. And we do that, first of all, by making sure that we're a nation of borders. We recognize, and President Trump recognizes, that a nation with no borders is no nation at all. And our laws need to be enforced. And that is a dramatic change, especially in this part of America down here at the southern border from what the Biden administration was enforcing. They ignored our laws, allowed an invasion of dangerous criminals, known and suspected terrorists to come into our country, and every day while we work to remove them, we are still focused on making sure that this border barrier is safe and that these families here are secure. This morning I met with several local farmers and ranchers, talked to them about the dramatic change that has impacted their lives over the last year. Before President Trump was in office at the end of 2024, they had an invasion going on their property. Their crops were being destroyed. They couldn't go out and take care of their land because of security reasons. They were carrying weapons to protect their families and their property, and they hoped that someone would care enough to come and help secure not just their livelihoods, but also the land that had been in their family for generations. Today, they told a very different story. They told a story of land that had essentially been given back to them, that now they could go out there and check their crops, work the ground safely, not be in fear of danger. They could go out and walk up and down their roads without the concern of being run over by cartel members moving their loads of dope across the border and into the United States. And they also told the stories and the memories of the horrific encounters that they had to deal with in their own home communities because of what Joe Biden was doing to this country. Joe Biden invited chaos into America in the form of a 4-year border crisis that has been unprecedented and broke a lot of what makes America great, and President Trump has been focused on putting it back together and making sure that Americans know that they have a leader that believes in them and wants to give them a chance at the American dream. Those ranchers that I spoke with and those farmers that I spoke with this morning, they're all Americans that agree that our country needs to be safe and needs to be secure, and they're grateful for President Trump's leadership. In 2025, daily illegal alien apprehensions at the southwest border have dropped by 95%. And for almost 10 months in a row, nearly a year, the Border Patrol has released 0 illegal aliens into our country. That is a record-setting amount of time period that we have had. And we have also seen 2.6 million illegal aliens removed from the United States of America. That includes almost 700,000 that have been arrested and deported and brought to justice, and then almost 2 million that have left voluntarily, because we sent a very clear message to the world that if you are in the United States illegally, go home now. If you wait until we detain you and deport you, you will never get the chance to come back and be a part of the American dream. The American people have a lot to celebrate in this historic year, but we have a lot more work to do. Even the most historic success does not mean that we can rest on all of our laurels. Innovation and improvement is important, and that's why today we're announcing the next steps to secure our border. The Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Protection are deploying over 500 miles of border barrier in the form of water barriers like you see behind us. These barriers were funded in the One Big Beautiful Bill, and that is long enough to stretch all the way from Washington, D.C. to Nashville, Tennessee. It's more than 130 miles of those barriers are already under contract, and they're getting ready to be deployed starting today. These barriers consist of floating buoys that are 4 to 5 feet in diameter and up to 15 feet long. The buoys that you see here today behind me are ones that are made right in America by a family-owned company down the road here in Texas. CBP is working closely with our state of Texas and the U.S. International Boundary and Waters Commission to make sure that the buoy barriers are installed properly and that they are going to last for many, many years to come. These barriers will make it much harder for illegal aliens, drug smugglers, and human traffickers to cross the river and other waterways where they will be deployed. They'll create a safer environment for agents on patrol. And securing our waterways not only protects Americans, it saves the lives of illegal aliens by deterring them from daring to attempt to cross through this treacherous water. Under Joe Biden, nearly 3,000 illegal aliens died attempting to cross into the United States, and an untold number of individuals drowned. Water crossings are the second highest cause of death for aliens crossing the border, with heat exhaustion being number one. Things are so calm here now that it's easy to forget how bad things really were. In 2023, I want to remind you that the United Nations declared Biden's wide-open border barrier and border invasion the world's deadliest land migration route. Those barriers, and these ones behind me, are going to save our lives and going to save illegal alien lives. It will help stop the drug trafficking that's devastating our next generation of Americans, and it will also make sure that we're stopping the human trafficking that we've seen for so many years. Cartels now use drones to smuggle drugs as well, and other technology. We will continue to deploy technology to meet the challenges that we have in front of us. And as we continue to stop these smugglers, we're going to be working around the clock to stop the damage of the Biden administration. Joe Biden was complicit and culpable in the biggest child trafficking ring in all of human history. On his watch, more than 450,000 unaccompanied children were lost, or they were placed with unvetted sponsors at the southern border and were completely overwhelmed. So far, the Trump administration has found over 129,000 of these children, and we're going to continue to ramp up our efforts to make sure that every single one of them is accounted for, found, and returned to family and people who love them. President Trump's doing everything that he can to keep America safe. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank Chief Banks, the state of Texas, our Border Patrol, and all the individuals that are out there making sure that our border not only continues to be safe and secure, but that we also are out there deploying technology to make sure that all Americans get the chance to live in America where they can get up in the morning and be excited about raising their kids and their grandkids in a country that is free. And with that, I'll turn it back over to any questions that you may have. Yes, right here. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm going to let Chief Banks describe the technology and the advancement in the buoy barriers because he's worked extensively on the development of this device and with a company that will be under contract to provide many of these miles of barrier for us.
And so I believe what you're referring to in the barriers was the discs that were placed in between each of the barriers that the state of Texas put into place. Those discs were anti-tamper discs. What we did is as we developed it out, we've created a way to create the same anti-deterrence or anti-tampering deterrence without having the disc in there. And so the system still works the same as far as how it sits on a ratchet system. As you try to climb up onto the buoys, they roll backwards, preventing you from being able to climb on. And then we've also found that using the more cylindrical instead of the circular, we get better flotation, which helps us maintain better control of the buoys. So what we've done is we've, over the last year, improved the buoy system that was being placed in the river in Texas, under the state of Texas, and worked with these. But they function the exact same way.
Yes. So a couple of questions there. You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy over 2,000 more officers to the Minneapolis area. And in the last 2 days, we've arrested hundreds and hundreds of dangerous criminals, not just fraudsters who stole from the American people billions of dollars and put it in their pockets and enriched their friends from overseas and themselves, but also individuals who committed acts of murder and rape and trafficking and drug exploitation and child exploitation. So we're going to continue to do our work. And I want to remind everybody that the act like we saw today of using a vehicle to try to kill an officer and his colleagues and the other people around him is something that every politician, every elected official, everyone in this country should be able to rally around and say that it is wrong. And that sanctuary cities and sanctuary states that protect individuals who do that should no longer be allowed. That those individuals that are in leadership positions in these sanctuary jurisdictions need to work with us to make sure that every single person that's out there enforcing the law can be safe, but also so that all of our citizens can continue to be safe too. Domestic acts of terrorism like this will not stand, and I'm grateful that we have the leadership in Washington, D.C. that recognizes it, and will make sure that it's working to keep every single community safe, regardless of who's in charge in that city. President Trump gets up every day and will work to keep people safe, whether they're in a red state or a blue state or in a city that has a Republican mayor or a mayor that has a Democrat mayor. He's going to fight for every single American to make sure they live in a safe community and can raise their kids without fear. Yes. Well, that's simply not happening. So it's just not true. We are focused on going after the worst of the worst in every community across this country to make sure that we're making our streets safer. And anyone who is a citizen of this country or is here legally has nothing to fear, has nothing to get out of bed in the morning to be scared of, because we are only enforcing the law. If you are in violation, if you have perverted one of our programs in order to be here illegally, absolutely. You may be held accountable for that action. But that individual and those businesses don't have anything to fear if they're following the law. Sure. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we're going to see any less people in detention or in immigration court, because we've still got 15 to 20 million people that are in this country illegally. And so if they don't leave on their own voluntarily and partner with us, I'll remind you all, everyone who wants to go home to their country, we will get you a ticket. We will give you $1,000 and we will help you get there. And you get the chance to come back to the United States the right way. If you wait till we detain you, then you'll never get the chance to be an American citizen. So I think that having a secure border is incredibly important, but we will probably still continue to see detainment centers and immigration courts quite full and being utilized extensively because of the devastation that Joe Biden put on this country. By allowing that many people to come into our country unvetted, we have no idea the amount of dangerous criminals that are here. I'll go to you. Yes. Overwhelmingly, the Venezuelans that I've heard from and talked to are excited about the changes that they see in their country. It is never a bad thing to have a murderous, vicious dictator removed from power. They have more opportunities to go back to their country and have it be more successful and provide for their families today than they did a week ago when Maduro was still in charge. So today's a good day, and we'll continue to do all we can to partner with Venezuela to help it be successful. Yes. Oh, nothing's hard about this job. My favorite thing to do is to solve problems and meet challenges. So President Trump and this country are the greatest gifts that I think we have right now, because we were handed a mess. And this country, people are desperate for some hope and some opportunity to remind themselves of what being an American is all about. So I am very blessed every day that I get the chance to get up and work with law enforcement officers, work with people who take an oath to put their life on the line for their fellow brothers, and I absolutely love it. Yes, sir. You know, my understanding is that Hilton has severed their franchise relationship with the owner of the hotel that we saw disrespecting our law enforcement so much. My hope is that hotel owners and franchises across the country would recognize
essentially at the epicenter of the largest immigration operation ever here in Minnesota. The Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security, saying this is the focus right now. We know upwards of some 2,000 agents are in town right now, and were before this. Arguably, maybe more will be coming depending on what happens here. But talking about that, this was going to be their spot right now, as they were going to really crack down on immigration, and as the administration has said, go after the worst of the worst, and knew that this was going to be a while, and said that they would be here as long as it takes. Obviously, our state leaders and senators and representatives kind of had talked about this, knew this was coming,
see some movement here now. You're watching this with us. This is from our chopper shot. We don't know if some of those vehicles being moved out of the area were at one time ICE agent vehicles. It's very possible. Corin Hoggard, our reporter on the scene who's on the ground, was telling us it appeared most of the personnel, as far as ICE agents, had left the area, but some of their vehicles were still behind. We did see a caravan of some of the ICE vehicles, what appeared to be the ICE vehicles, the typical black and white SUVs, going down the street at one point, leaving the area. That's where the one incident happened, where we were on the ground with our camera, and the protesters were trying to keep that ICE vehicle from leaving. But now you can see some of these vehicles if that was an ICE vehicle, looks like they're trying to clear that scene of those vehicles. And it has been kind of hard to tell, obviously. This is an active situation, and we know that, not only here, but in other cities too, some of the ICE agents are using different cars, not rolling up in a squad car. So it's hard to know what exactly is what, and who is with different agencies and the like. But clearly there is still a presence here at 34th and Portland, and will be for some time, even after, people leave, even after people disperse. This is an active crime scene, not only here for, obviously, the city of Minneapolis, but federally. Right. And so this will definitely continue to be a crime scene and an active investigation for quite some time. We can tell by what we've observed and what Corin Hoggard, our reporter on the scene, was able to observe on the ground, that it is now apparently the jurisdiction of the Minneapolis Police Department. You can see that they have roped off the area. They have the temporary barriers there with the metal fencing. And you can see a line of officers there keeping the crowd from going down the street. But that is clearly, the investigation is now under their purvey, and they're the ones who will be looking into all of this and figuring out what happened. Again, we may get some more pieces to the puzzle with this news conference we're waiting on, coming down any time now. We were told 12:15. We know things happen, and there may be a delay in getting to the microphones, but we are waiting to hear from Mayor Jacob Frey and Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara to tell us more, fill us in more as to what they have learned and what they can tell us. Right, and we don't know if the mayor was there on the scene, but we did see the chief there. So, and not
all that long ago, so it might just be getting from the scene to City Hall and doing a debrief there. We don't know if any other officials are expected to talk. We do know that several city council members were seen at the scene. We know that nearly every local and statewide politician has commented on this, talking about they are aware, they've been briefed, and working to gather more information and hoping to learn more, obviously from the governor's office all the way down to Minneapolis City Council members as well.
We can't see it. It does look like most people now are behind that barrier. We did see more people lined up along the street behind the police tape, but it does appear that they're now behind this kind of temporary metal fence barrier. And from what we understand, there's still a lot of shouting, a lot of yelling, and we don't know if anything's being thrown at officers, but we do know that certainly this crowd is not happy.
And we do know that there were some tense moments earlier, as we've been talking about. And if you've been with us here this whole time, you saw it live happening as it appeared. ICE agents, or at least some, were trying to leave the scene, and folks there at the scene started throwing objects at the cars and at officers. It looked, from our vantage point, that it started with snow and then potentially something else escalating. Presumably, pepper spray was used at one point. We saw, obviously, our own crew was in the middle of all of that. Eventually, it looked like people were kind of trying to barricade that car and trying to prevent it from leaving one of the alleys. It did get through, and that really was the only situation, at least that we have seen from the scene. Things have, all intents and purposes, calmed down, if you will, as far as tensions between those out there protesting and those law enforcement officials.
Right, and that's our observation right now. Again, just the rancor, the people yelling and shouting. Very different from, actually physically trying to get involved with the vehicle trying to remove itself from that area. Again, we're still waiting for you. We'll bring it. Is the largest operation of its kind. The administration saying that there would be 2,000 officers plus here, some under the guidance of trying to, they were going to be taking part in the immigration enforcement. Others were also looking into, we reported, to some of the Somali issues and with possible fraud that's going on. Some 600 agents will be looking into that. And Kristi Noem saying that they would not leave the area until they had resolved these issues.
Homeland Security Secretary Noem just was involved in a different press conference out of Texas, but I do want to read what she said when she was asked about what happened here this morning. She says, "It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them, those surrounding them, and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle." She goes on to say, "An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. My understanding," she says, "is that she, the victim, was hit and is deceased." This goes to show the assaults on our ICE officers and law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We will continue to protect our ICE officers. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy more than 2,000 officers to the Minneapolis area. She says, in the last 2 days, we have arrested hundreds of dangerous criminals. We're going to continue to do our work. The act like we saw today of using a vehicle to try to kill an officer and his colleagues is something that every politician, every elected official, everyone in this country should be able to rally around and say is wrong. Sanctuary cities, she says, and sanctuary states that protect individuals who do that should no longer be allowed. Domestic act of terrorism like this will not stand. Again, that is from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem in reference to what happened here this morning.
And we know as of yesterday, she was in our area with boots on the ground herself here, commenting on the Homeland Security webpage, talking to one of the detainees, saying to that person, you will be held accountable for your crimes. We understand we're getting closer to hearing from both Mayor Jacob Fry and Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara at this news conference. We're given maybe the 2-minute warning, that type of thing, but we're getting very close now to hearing what they have to say.
So as soon as that happens, obviously, as soon as we see the mayor or the police chief step to the podium, we will listen and take it to you live, as there's still, again, so many unanswered questions at this point about what all happened here, what happened to initiate this encounter, this interaction between ICE agents and this now deceased female, this deceased woman, and exactly what happened. And again, big questions as to what happens now, not only here in Minneapolis, but across the country.
How will this change things go moving forward as we now have someone who has lost their life? But we, again, we're still, there are a lot of pieces to this very large puzzle, a lot of layers to what has happened here. And there you see the vehicle. You can hear some of the, you can hear now, we have some of the audio of people there on the street. This is Portland. As you're looking at the people who are lined up here, this would be Portland Avenue going let's see, it would be horizontal. And there's our yeah, we're losing our chopper there, but there is this. Yep, there's the scene from this is the vehicle that apparently this constitutional observer was in when that person, this woman, was shot.
And again, you know, if you are following along, if you've been following on social media accounts, there is a lot of video out there. There's a lot of video from different vantage points of different people who are in this area. This is a residential area. This was, you know, again, I don't know the exact time, but, you know, mid-morning, and there was a lot of noise. So there are a lot of different videos out there showing what happened post, what happened, you know, everything that transpired. We are working to verify information. We are working to verify videos and make sure that we feel confident in what we show over the air as a news organization as well.
We're also observing, you could see on those folks who are walking by the crime scene, they're FBI. You can see that clearly on their uniform, or at least what they're wearing. You can see the bold initials FBI. So we know now, obviously, this is something that's on a national scale, the FBI would be certainly investigating.
And that's kind of what we were alluding to. This is no longer just a Minneapolis police investigation. Obviously, Minneapolis is involved, no doubt. It happened within the city, but this is far greater than just Minneapolis and just obviously the state, as we work to learn more, gather more information. Again, waiting for this press conference from city officials. We have heard from ICE. We are still waiting to exactly figure out what happens now. The big question too, we've talked about this a lot. Our reporter Corin talking about body camera video. Were agents wearing them? We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns at this point.
A lot of unknowns, and we have heard that not all of the agents are wearing body camera videos. We don't know what the protocol is, who was wearing them, who is not. We just simply don't know. We may get those answers. We could tell Minneapolis police from the get-go were part of the crowd control here and roping off the area, but as you can see now, it is more of a FBI operation as far as the investigation goes, as far as this being a federal incident, since we have ICE agents who are federal agents.
And again, from ICE, the latest that we have received from ICE is that one person is dead. Presumably the person who was driving that car is, from what we are gathering from both the ICE statement and also witnesses on the ground. The administration, the Department of Homeland Security, saying that no officers were hurt, or if they were, they will recover from their injuries, and saying that they acted to protect themselves. And and others around them. So that is the update, too, that we have received from ICE at this point involving this deadly shooting in Minneapolis. Again, this is at East 34th Street and Portland Avenue, not far from 35 and Powderhorn Park. Clearly a residential area as folks were waking up here this morning. We heard from one witness. He's got a 1-year-old at home, says the baby woke him up and heard a lot of commotion and heard a lot of noise and looked out and started to see what was happening here in his neighborhood.
And again, new videos popping up every time I refresh my phone. You can find all kinds of video of what happened here. So you know that the FBI and others will be looking at all of that to ascertain exactly how this all went down. We've heard from our reporter on the ground, Corin Hoggard, who heard from some witnesses. We don't know their vantage point, how close they were to all this. We heard their accounts, but now you get a very, very good idea with some of these accounts where video was taken very close to where this all happened. And people were rolling as all of this went down.
And no doubt that's going to be part of the investigation. And obviously, as we mentioned, agents will be on the scene for hours, collecting as much information, as many of those videos as they can, talking to a lot of people. To your point, Tom, you know, some people, at what point did you enter in this scene? At what point did these witnesses see what they saw? Again, we are still awaiting this press conference from City Hall, Minneapolis City Hall. The mayor is expected to speak. The police chief is expected to speak. Not sure if anyone else will be there. We know that we saw nearly every city council member at the scene earlier here this morning, pretty quickly after all of this went down.
Right. And we're now being told 1 minute to this news conference, so we'll, of course, stay with it until that happens. We have also heard from all of the usual suspects, the politicians in the state, from obviously the mayor's office. We've heard also from the governor's office. We've heard from Senator Smith and Senator Klobuchar. And now it looks like this news conference is happening. Let's go ahead and take it live.
There's a lot of information that is swirling around right now, and we collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis. Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city.
I hear like
they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. As soon as it happened and we learned of the incident, we had several priorities. The first, of course, was to get the victim to the hospital and to get care as soon as possible. And to the family, I'm so deeply sorry. There's nothing that I can say right now that's going to make you or your relatives or the friends of the victim feel any better. There were, I believe, 2 Minneapolis police officers that responded and were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There were dozens, if not hundreds, of ICE and federal officers that were there at the time. Having them there was only causing more chaos. Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. Here, your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done. We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now, and justice is what we've all got to get. Next, the message to our community. Look, we all know that the agenda of this Trump administration is to create chaos. Let us respond right now with our best versions of self. This is a moment where all of us in Minneapolis and beyond, we can rise to the occasion. We can show them who we are. We can show them the kind of courage, bravery, love, and compassion that makes Minneapolis, Minneapolis, and that makes America, America. We are better than a bunch of ICE agents being deployed to cities around the country and ripping apart families and communities. We're better than that. And so we are going to meet that hate with love. We are going to meet that despair with hope. We are going to meet that injustice with constitutional justice ourselves. And we're going to make sure that in this very difficult moment, we do not take the bait that these ICE agents are trying to create and that the federal government, to be clear, wants. They want us to respond in a way that creates a military occupation in our city. They want an excuse to come in and show the kind of force that will create more chaos and more despair. Let's not let them. Let's rise to this occasion. Let's show them something far more beautiful than the kind of division that they're trying to stoke. Let's show them unity of purpose, of love, and the courage of our conviction. Our conviction, to be clear, is rock solid, and it is for our neighbors, all of our neighbors. It's for people who have lived here for 80 years. It is for new immigrants who have made this city a better place. That's the kind of love that we're going to show up with right now. If you're angry, I get it. I am too. If you're feeling that kind of despair, it's understandable. Let's show them who we can be. Let's show up with peace. To march, to protest, to hug one another, to love all the way with peace. Do not give them what they want. Finally, we've got a lot of work that needs to happen right now to make sure that, first, of course, the scene was secured as much as possible, that we were able to get the victim, now deceased, to the hospital. We've got a lot of work to do in the coming days. I want to thank our city enterprise for the work that they have done, but more importantly, what they're about to do, because this is going to be heavy, and our city has been through a lot. We also know that we're prepared to do right for people. Among them is our chief of police. I'll invite him up.
My name is Brian O'Hara, BRIANO''HARA. I am the Minneapolis Police Chief. This morning, Minneapolis police officers received a report of federal law enforcement being involved in a deadly force incident, meaning shots had been fired. Minneapolis police officers responded to the scene. We arrived and found a woman with a gunshot wound to the head. Life-saving measures were performed at the scene, including CPR. The woman was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center, where she has since been pronounced deceased. The preliminary information that we have indicates that this woman was in her vehicle and was blocking the roadway on Portland Avenue, midway between 33rd Street and 34th Street in the city. At some point, a federal law enforcement officer approached her on foot, and the vehicle began to drive off. At least 2 shots were fired. The vehicle then crashed on the side of the roadway. Minneapolis police officers secured the crime scene and assisted in trying to preserve the evidence that is there. We have since turned over the scene both to the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which will be conducting an investigation into this use of deadly force. I want to thank the mayor, city council president, other members of the city council, state legislators that were on the scene. This has been a very difficult time for everyone in the city. And this is obviously a very, very tragic situation where a woman has lost her life. That being said, in addition to this tragedy, which unfortunately we did predict, we were seriously concerned about further escalation from the scene. And I want to thank the elected officials that came themselves to help us prevent that from happening, as well as the individuals on that scene that remained peaceful and that abided by law enforcement instructions so that we could preserve that scene and ensure that a full and transparent investigation can take place. That being said, I just echo the mayor's comments that we ask that the community continue to call for peace. We understand people are going to be upset about what happened, and people are going to want to exercise their First Amendment rights. But please do so safely and lawfully to ensure that we do not have any further tragedy in this city or destruction. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, council members. Commissioner, I'll open it to questions.
Any idea on the identity of the ICE officer who fired the shots at this point?
I don't have that information, no. The question was, is there an identity of the ICE officer that fired? I do not have that.
Mayor, we're hearing the ICE officer stopped a physician from helping the lady who was shot. Is that true? We've seen videos all over social media that someone tried to help this lady, and they were told, they were pointing guns at her and told to get away. Do you know about that at all?
So the question was, there's information out there that people tried to help the woman that was shot, and ICE officers then pointed guns at them and told them to leave. I do not have that information. I myself saw a video of the shots being fired as the car was driving away. What I can tell you is the narrative that this was just done in self-defense is a garbage narrative. That is not true. It has no truth. And it needs to be stated very clearly, since we have already seen a video of it. I do not know as to what you're talking about.
So, Mayor, she wasn't driving.
Over here.
She wasn't driving the car toward him, using her vehicle as a weapon.
That does not appear to be the case at all.
What's the city's protocol when an observer or an activist calls 911? You say an agent's phone or an agent's pointing a gun at them. How does the city of Minneapolis handle that situation or consider it?
Repeat it one more time. I missed the first part of what you said. I'll turn it over to the chief. Yeah.
What does the city do when someone calls 911 and a federal agent's
pointing a gun at them? That sort of thing. I'll turn it over to the chief. The question is, what does someone do when a federal agent is pointing a gun at them, Chief?
So, if I heard you correctly, the question is about when people call 911, what is the city's protocol in these situations? We've had a very dramatic increase in 911 calls related to this activity. We have a protocol in place that has been evolving as the situation has been changing. And at this time, there is a designated supervisor that is on duty 24/7 that fields those calls. And we do everything that we can to ensure that they are appropriately prioritized, with the priority being placed upon the protection of life and safety of everyone in the community.
Can you tell us any more about the woman who was fatally shot? Was she there as a legal observer, protester, bystander? What do you know that you can share?
So the question was, what can I share about the deceased? There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity. This woman was in her car, and it appears then blocking the street because of the presence of federal law enforcement, which is obviously something that has been happening not just in Minneapolis, but around the country. She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
Chief, just about a month ago, you said these unplanned and questionable tactics by federal agents would result in someone being killed at a press conference right here. Do you consider today's tactics in line with that, or do you just have a generic response to the fact that somebody is now dead?
The question is that I had previously made several statements about being concerned about the tactics being employed. I am obviously very concerned that I have been told that a woman who was sitting in her car blocking the street and not the target of any enforcement activity is now deceased. However, I do not know, to be clear, I do not know the exact circumstances of the shooting, but I would tell you, in any professional law enforcement agency in the country, I think they would tell you it's obviously very concerning whenever there's a shooting into a vehicle of someone who's not armed. But it also is something that is possible. At times, it is justified. But it is very concerning, and it's something that most law enforcement agencies in the country train very intensely to try and minimize the risk that law enforcement officers get placed into a situation that the need for deadly force would be necessary.
Has there been any indication of the need of this?
I didn't hear the question, I'm sorry.
Has there been any indication of the need to shoot into the vehicle?
The question was any indication about the need. I guess getting back to the justification of this, I have not seen any information other than what I have communicated.
Was she alone in the car? Were there children in the car with her?
The question was if she was alone in the car. I know that I got there shortly after this call came in. I did not see anyone else with her while I was on the scene. However, I've since been told by our officers that have been with her the entire time that a spouse has arrived at the hospital.
Mayor, just curious if you're thinking about contacting federal authorities to register your concerns about this, personally making phone calls, etc.
Yes, we've been on the phone all morning. As soon as we learned about this, again, there were a series of priorities that we needed to go through. The first, of course, is to keep people safe and to help the victim in any way that we could. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There was the notion that ICE agents would be necessary to create a perimeter around the scene itself. They themselves were creating the kind of dysfunction and chaos that they claimed to be trying to help with. And so the message that we delivered very clearly was to make them leave. Now, beyond leaving the scene, they should also leave our city and our state. We do work, our chief does work, our sheriff does work every single day to keep people safe in our city and in our state. And crime is dramatically down. Crime is down. It continues to trend down. They are doing the hard work of investigating, of arresting perpetrators of violent crime. What this federal administration is doing right now is not about creating safety. Do not let them tell you that what they are doing is about creating safety. It is not. It is having the opposite impact. We need to be clear-eyed about the work that is moving forward. and they need to leave Minneapolis.
We have time for one or two more questions.
Mayor, you may know this with your legal background. If a shooting is found to not be justified, does the city have any legal, or the state rather, have any legal recourse to bring charges against this ICE agent, given that this person is a federal agent, if the feds don't?
So, obviously, and I have to always lead with this caveat because it is true, an investigation still does need to be conducted. I had my perception of what took place based on the vehicle and the vehicle's positioning. It does not appear that the individual is trying to ram anybody. Now, the question was, if it is in fact found to be an unjustified shooting, who issues the charge? Who prosecutes? How does justice take place? I don't know the answer in full to that. This is obviously information that we're still working out. Chief, do you have any additional information, or Commissioner?
The only thing I would add to the mayor's statement is that the crime scene was held by the Minneapolis Police Department, and the investigation is now being led jointly by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. And the purpose of their involvement would be to investigate whether any state laws within the state of Minnesota have been violated.
One more
Can I just add something to that, too? What's very important is that for our communities that we do have some kind of part in this investigation. It needs to be done on a local level. With all due respect to the federal level, we do need to make sure that our local agencies are involved. Most certainly the BCA is very well capable of working with our federal partners in doing so. That is something that is needed for our communities, and so that's something that I can tell you that there's already been conversations from the U.S. Attorney's Office to the BCA that have already taken place today. How that's going to roll out, we don't know yet, but we are making sure that there is some kind of local entity, namely the BCA, that has a part in this investigation for the purposes of transparency and expedient transparency as to what happened today.
One more.
Sorry.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Again, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you to the media for being here and disseminating this very important information around this tragic incident. To reiterate a final message to our community members, I understand the anger. Let's unite around hope and love and peace and getting justice. That's what we need to be doing right now. I appreciate the service from everybody up here as well as the 435,000 people that call Minneapolis home. Thank you.
Got some housekeeping for you in just a moment after everyone leaves.
And welcome back to our live continuing coverage of this breaking news that we've been following all morning in Minneapolis, an ICE-related shooting. This now the first time that we're really hearing some more details from law enforcement.
Yeah, we know that the call was made maybe about 10 o'clock this morning, so just about 3 hours or so ago. In that press conference, we did get some more information about this woman who was, we know, at this point shot and killed by ICE agents. We have learned that she is a 37-year-old white woman. She appeared to be in the vehicle alone, is what the police chief said, but the spouse has made it to the hospital. But we probably should take you back just a little bit about just some of the chain of events that have happened now that we have some of that information confirmed.
And interestingly, we really still haven't learned what the initial call was, why ICE was there in the first place, who they may have been looking for. But we know that while ICE agents were there, according to Mayor Fry, there were about a dozen or so plus agents there, and that, you know, we've seen there's some video out there. We're actually going to be showing it to you here shortly, so you can see for yourself. But in the course of, of them looking for somebody, people started to gather, crowds started to gather, more law enforcement shows up. And I'm not exactly sure at what point the incident happened with the woman in the vehicle, but we know that there was a woman in the vehicle, and according to again, you'll see the video for yourself and you can kind of watch. There are two narratives here, one from the Trump administration, which we'll read to you in a second, and then one we just heard from local law enforcement. Okay, and Ryan's telling me that we are actually ready to show the video. So before we layer too much context here, why don't we just let you watch this? But we're going to do this in a very sort of deliberate way. Let people know that this is video we're showing for the first time. You're not going to see it a lot on our air because we want to make sure that when we're showing it, we're doing it with a purpose. So there's no as well, and you're going to see this sort of play out. So just a warning to those who may not want to see this. You can see the vehicle there. That's law enforcement pulling up in the pickup.
And it is the Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about a purplish, reddish color here. So let's take a look.
Agent walking up. And then there's another agent. I don't know if you can see that way right there.
Three agents involved. One was kind of closer to the front of the vehicle. The other kind of pulled on the driver's side door handle.
Yeah. So again, there's no audio here. We don't know what's being said. We don't know really anything else about this woman, other than we know that she was not the target of the initial investigation. That was confirmed by the police chief. But there are some other angles of this as well that are being looked at. So that's kind of one piece of the video. And again, Right. Okay. Thanks for letting us know. Sorry. So there is some audio to listen if you want. You can see. So now you can see the vehicle is crashed, and according to law enforcement here in the Twin Cities, the woman was shot, and then the vehicle drove into the snow, as you can see. So this is kind of the aftermath right now. This video is turning through. We wanted to show you what's happening. We don't have a lot on the front end of this, and every time we show a video, we kind of like to show prior.
Okay, well, because other news, I'm not going to play the.
This is what we have, so we wanted to show it to you.
And this is also the first time that we are seeing this as well. So we're kind of just watching this together along with you. But as you can see there, you see all these houses and these homes along Portland Avenue. We know that this is a
okay, so I can't show the.
So
watch this because I'm not at home, so I can't break the video down.
We don't know
Absolutely,
because that's the thing too.
It's fucked up, man. What the fuck?
Why didn't they cops arrest them and allow them to leave the scene?
Exactly, right?
If it was me, you, or anybody else,
they would have been detained, or we would have been.
Trump got to get his shit together, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's fucked up. Appreciate you.
Of course, bro. Of course, bro.
Stay safe.
For sure, you too, bro.
Probably gonna get shaky.
Yeah, man. It's going to. It's gonna get shaky. Always right. It's been shaky. Okay, so I gotta be strategic about this because it's been posted everywhere now. I'm not showing the one. I'm not showing the moment. Okay, 18 seconds. Okay, so we got to show you the beginning now. Okay. Check out the beginning when she's waving the. How you doing, man? She's waving the ICE agents by. Like she's not like trying to impede them or anything. Like at the beginning of the video. Hold on, guys. I gotta mute a couple things here. Hold on.
He was absolutely fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I don't really use that one. Use Guru Mercado. That one I use that one, but like not as much. Andrew Mercado. Just my first name, but Mercado at the end. Yeah, Mercado.
That's what they want. They want something.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do you do?
Independent journalism. I live in Blaine. I'm from here. I'm from the Twin Cities. Right now I'm countering right-wing propaganda and lies. So.
Right.
You know what I mean?
As long as you just
Yeah, bro.
facts,
Oh, for sure, bro. Yeah, you already know.
Some of this stuff like they add like what color lemons on purpose.
Facts. You're not wrong.
Right, nice meeting you, man.
You too. Nice meeting you too. Okay, really quick, chat. So it's on X. I already reposted it. So you got to be careful here, everyone. So here you go. You can start. It's on X or Blue Sky, wherever. I'm not gonna show the moment. Okay, so look at the way her hand is out the window, waving the vehicle's past. Because clearly she got boxed in. She got boxed in by ICE, which I've gotten boxed in by ICE. Is this too bright? We probably should go here. Hold on. I've been boxed in by ICE covering the raids. So likely got boxed in, which is why there's a vehicle in front of her and behind her. The one vehicle, I gotta be careful. The one vehicle goes past. She's waving them past. She's waving the vehicles past them. Like telling them go around. And then this truck pulls up. The ICE agents get out. Okay, the ICE agents get out. I know what moment. I know the timestamp to pull it away. Okay, they pull and then they shoot her right there. I can't show it right there. But like they reach into the vehicle and then try to open the door. And then at that moment, the ICE agent starts shooting. And I'm trying to be very careful about that right now. Okay, it's very quick. It's at the 18-second mark. 11, 12, 13. You can see, look at the ICE, oh God, it's so quick. I'm doing it right before. But the ICE agent that shoots is off to the side of the vehicle. In front, off to the side. Absolute murder. Murder in the highest fucking order. So the observers waving the vehicles past, like, go past. Because we have a constitutional right to film the federal government. Fuck yourselves, feds. We have the First Amendment right to film what the federal government is doing in the public spaces of our cities. We do. Suck a dick. Suck my dick. 3 dicks. You federal fucking Nazis. And Greg Bavino with his stupid fucking haircut out here today in the Twin Cities. We have a right to film you.